Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, I talked to Nidhi Dallur about pre-sales. Hi Nidhi, welcome to the show and thanks for making time to talk to me today in the podcast. How are you doing today?
Good, and thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I really appreciate it. How are you?
Great, I'm good, thank you. For the sake of audience, can you tell a bit about yourself and what you do?
Hello, I'm Nidhi. I work as a solutions engineer in a communication company. The solutions engineer role is mostly within the sales organization, what we like to call as go-to-market. And it's been a very interesting and very inspirational journey so far for me.
Wonderful. I wonder how the sales works out in this process because yours seems to be a very technical role.
It's more of a sales support role, I would say. So we work with the actual sales representatives who are selling the product. But since our company is very API focused, we don't have a lot of demos, etc., that we can show like SaaS-based companies. And our customers who initially come to us have a lot of technical questions that the sales representative may not have the full knowledge to answer them. So we support them in helping out with the more technical aspects of the sale and help them close the sale.
Okay, wonderful. It sounds like mostly a pre-sales kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would definitely say it's a pre-sales role.
Wonderful. So, how did you get into pre-sales? Can you tell a bit about your journey?
It's been a very long journey. My education is not in IT or in software engineering. My education from India was in BDS, which is Bachelor of Dental Surgery. I worked as a dentist for a year or so, and I wanted to move to the US to do graduate studies in dentistry and move into more of a research position in dentistry. That did not work out, unfortunately. And within the US, even if we have to practice dentistry, my Indian degree is not recognized. So I would have had to go through the training for clinical dentistry again for 4 years, and it can definitely be expensive. So I did not want to take the route. It was my husband who works currently he's a CFO for a software warehouse product, but he recommended that I make the switch in careers to IT. And I initially started off as a customer support representative and moved to a software QA role. But while working those roles, just randomly, I came across this pre-sale position called a sales engineer. It was very intriguing. It gave me an opportunity to be technical, but also interact with people, help with their problems, provide technical solutions. So I felt like it's a very good mix between all worlds. I applied for it, and fortunately, it was a entry-level role. It was a brand new team, and the manager decided to give me a chance to continue in this role. And as they say, rest is history.
Wonderful. So, I'm pretty sure that your customer service and the QA experience would have helped you a lot in providing the technical solutions. As a foundation, it would have helped you a lot in understanding customer problems and trying to address them by providing solutions, which is great. Where do you live?
I'm based in the US. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a very interesting transition. The reason I initially wanted to move here was because research in dentistry was still very new, sort of an idea in India back in maybe 2009 or 10. And I wanted to move here because I thought I would have a better opportunity to be in research, but obviously that didn't pan out. But I really like the environment in the work culture, and it was a very, very different work environment compared to what I had experienced in India. And my husband also fortunately got a transfer with his job, so we decided to move here. I have a daughter. We decided to raise her here. We have a great Indian community around us, which has really helped us, feel at home, but also, enjoy everything that comes with living in the US.
Wonderful. So tell us about the Indian community. What kind of activities do you get involved there?
Unfortunately, I'm not as social as some of the other Indian neighbors that I have. But what I would say is we're there for each other anytime anybody needs help. Contrary to what people may think that in the US everything is very transactional. You need to make appointments. You need to send RSVPs. That is not the feeling that I get here. We have ladies meet every once in a few months. My kids are friends with kids around in the neighborhood. So we have a lot of get-togethers for no reason. It doesn't have to be a festival or religious event. We just like to get together and just have fun, I guess. So I don't know. I'm not that into a lot of meetups, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Other than work, do you have any kinds of hobbies or interests that you pursue?
Yeah, I recently started playing tennis. I'm a huge tennis fan, but I had never actually tried my hand at playing the game. But I recently found a group of women that love to play together and have Sunday games. And there's like a little tournament that happens every season. So there's fall, summer, and I've been enjoying myself learning to play tennis, but also having a good sense of a friend group to play with. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
So how did you become a fan of tennis? Who was your inspiration?
Oh my God, I'm old enough to remember Steffi Graf. I don't know if a lot of the listeners remember her, but my dad was definitely the inspiration. He never missed any of the major tournaments, the Grand Slams. Definitely remember, Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras going against each other, and remember the incident with Monica Seles being stabbed. I don't know how many of them remember that today, but Steffi Graf, just watching her, play and being the winner was very inspirational. So I've been watching tennis for that long.
That's great. In India, do you have any specific stars, tennis stars that you follow?
Yeah, I was really glad to see Sania Mirza on this, global stage, and really admired her, passion for the game and the hard work that she put in to reach this platform. Obviously, we have a lot of male players that are very good and have made it to, big Grand Slams. Of course, there's Mahesh Bhupathi and Leandro Paes, but Sania Mirza is definitely my favorite. Like, I feel like she fought against all odds, being in a female player from India to reach this global stage. I think it's a big achievement.
That's true. Wonderful. Tell us more about Atlanta because I'm curious because I love San Francisco. So, and the unique thing about San Francisco is that it's always misty and there's a lot of lively activities that go on in the city. If I go to San Francisco, I never get bored. I have this tram. I have this Fisherman's Wharf, and I have this Western classical concerts going on, and there are so many things to do in San Francisco. Likewise, in Atlanta, what do you do actually? Tell us about that.
A misnomer to use. I don't live in Atlanta City. I live about, a few miles north of it, very much in the suburbs.
Okay.
But what I would like to say is we live sort of in a decent driving distance to Florida, and just the Gulf Coast in Florida is absolutely breathtaking. The kind of pictures that you see about white sands and blue-green water, that's the kind of the environment that you actually see here in the Florida Gulf Coast, so absolutely love driving down there. We're close enough to the mountains in Tennessee, so that's a completely different experience. With especially in winter and fall, we have beautiful foliage. So, I mean, as you've guessed, more of a nature person, but there's definitely a lot of stuff to do, and even for nature enthusiasts around here.
Great, wonderful. So have you been to the southernmost part of the tip of Florida? I don't know what they call it. I forgot the name.
Yeah, the Florida Keys. No, I haven't been there yet. It's a little long to, drive there. Maybe a flight would be a better option. So we try to stay within driving distance, especially, with children, they won't like sitting in the car for a very long time.
Hmm.
And especially with our like hectic schedules, I don't usually get to travel that much, so we just like to drive around and do things.
Okay, I heard that it's a pretty exciting drive to the Florida Keys from the mainland. So I was wondering if you had tried it any time. So maybe in the future you could give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Any questions for me?
Can you elaborate a little bit more on what inspired you, to start this and to work on hearing people's stories?
Yeah, I get this question every time. Um, the thing that inspired me is that I like talking to people. That's number one. And these days, I think the interactions and the connections have been hit by social media and all the stuff. So I really wanted to have a channel or a platform for people to come in and talk about themselves, express themselves, talk about that work and things that they experience in life, their problems, challenges, etc. So I figured that everybody has their own social media these days, their own podcasts and things like that in their own hands. Arranging the graphics and things have become quite easy. So I thought it's a good idea to have my own podcast platform and have my own set of audience. So that's how it started. Actually, I am an author. So I did a podcast with a friend about my first book. That's how it all started. And there is a recording time, editing time, and everything has to be balanced and things like that. So it keeps happening. But I'm actively looking for people who can take part in my show. So this is how it has happened. It has been just 2 or 3 months now. We have had around 14, 15 episodes. And I look forward to have at least 50 episodes to make it a kind of a sturdy platform for people to come in and enjoy listening to these podcasts.
That's very inspirational. What is your so I honestly I don't think I have a story to tell. Obviously there are definitely other people who are very active. They love to take initiative. I mean, have there been any professionals who've talked about how it is to balance work and life and kids and all of it? Because a lot of and you can edit this out, this is just my thought process here. So I know a lot of it focuses on telling your story and what are you interested in, what is your, as you asked me, what are your hobbies? But we are in a stage of life where we're just literally just grinding, kids, work, relationships, tours, all of it. So I don't know if maybe one day we can focus on what happens when there's not a story to tell. And like just regular people, what happens when they are so busy with life that priorities change, and that I guess it's okay to be normal. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, so everybody has a story, is what I believe. I don't believe that normal people don't have a story. Every one of us, each moment of our life, we have a story. In fact, I am a storyteller too. So when I go around, simple things like walking in the park, being with the people in a societal situation, I see so many things which can be stories. It is how much deeply you look into it, You try to understand the situation and you try to make a story of it, is how it works. Being a poet and a storyteller, whatever I look at is a story for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe that there is no story in life, because every life is a story. So that way, I think normal people also have stories, and that is the whole foundation of this podcast. If you look at my podcast, there are so many people from different walks of life. There was a podcast with a statistical person who explained how she worked on collecting data and how that prevented an accident prone zone in a national highway, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty inspiring. There was another person who talked about Carnatic music and its benefits to our well being. There was another dancer who talked about how dances like Bharatanatyam is helpful for well being. There were people who talked about being an author and how they got inspired of being an author. What are the societal issues that they are seeing, especially the gun violence in US? What are their thoughts on that and how they could address them and things like that? So there is different things that come out of these discussions which keep me inspired. I don't believe anybody is boring or anybody is grinding. So even grinding is a story. So tell us about the grinding. So that's how it works.
Yeah, that's definitely a good perspective for sure.
Okay, thanks a lot for spending time with us. I would request you to spread the word about the podcast to your friends.
Thanks for thinking that my story should be heard, or that everyone deserves to be given a voice. So appreciate the thought behind it. Yeah, thanks, Venkat.
Thank you. Take care. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
you too. Bye.
That was a great podcast with Nidhi Dallur. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.